All right. Greetings, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? How's everybody doing on this Friday evening?
I know,
Chilling,
right?
bro. Made it
Nice
to the
day.
end of the week. First week of 2026, yo.
For
Oh, 1 minute.
sure. For
Oh, wait a
sure.
minute. Second week. My bad.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right.
wait a minute. Third week.
Somebody's stuck in 2025 still. It just need
No,
to
I'm
put
not.
this on.
God knows I'm not.
Oh, man. All right.
Lord have mercy.
So, how was your week?
Week was pretty good. Week was pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. You know, you got to get back into the groove of things after you've been off for a couple of
Yeah.
days from the job and the routine. You got to get right back. You got to get back into the routine of what you were doing before. And it's like, oh man, I got to go back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
It is like to me, I almost feel like they should make when it comes to that holiday season, I think it would be good from from Christmas Eve all the way until like the week after the first, the people come
Mhm.
back, like give you a good break, you know what I'm saying? And then
Okay.
come back.
Okay.
'Cause I feel
Yeah.
like when you come back right after the first or right after Christmas, your brain is not in mode. You're not functioning really. You just kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
stuck in different spaces. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 You know, it's funny because so I took off last Friday, the day after what was that, New Year's Day. And even though I had the whole weekend and then had to come back and to the routine on Monday, I was like, oh, I still gotta go back.
Yeah,
Just,
I'm telling you.
especially when you've been off for a hot second, you know what I'm saying? Which is probably the best part of that time of the year with the holidays back to back, all of that. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm glad to be alive. We made it to 2026, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the midst of all that's happening in the world, I'm still glad to be here. Thank God. For real,
I'm
for
trying
real.
to tell you, this one it
You know
is
what I'm saying?
crazy in the world, man.
Man, who you telling, bro? I'm like,
You just
come
don't even want
on.
to come outside. Just order your food and just stay in the house.
Basically,
That's it.
basically,
Man.
Instacart, just bring me my
Right.
food, please. Bring my food, please.
Right.
Oh my God, yo.
Look, just tell Instacart to pay us. But anyway, all right.
I mean,
So no,
we just did a commercial for them, so they might as well.
yeah.
We need some sponsors. What's up?
All right. So today's topic, we pretty much going to come down everybody's street. This really because when you think of metrics of love, you think the first thing we think is the relational component of love. Like you got somebody that love you and you love them.
Okay.
But there's other angles to it. So yeah, there's the relational piece, those that are in a relationship or a marriage. Then there's of course first things first, the self-love piece. And then there is the metrics piece that happens to people that are single, people that are, dating or got out of a relationship or got out of a marriage. And, you got to check yourself and see how you tracking. Did you learn? What did you learn 3 months ago? What did you learn 6 months ago? What you learn last year?
Mhm.
And are you going to apply those changes going forward? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you think about this whole topic, it puts you in the mind of anybody who's ever worked in a capacity where you start off working somewhere and the first thing they say, oh yeah, you got your so this is how we'll look at it. When you submit your resume and go through the interview process, and if you get selected for the job, that's just saying you have what it takes on paper to work here and you spoke to what's on paper, right?
Mhm.
To
Okay.
work if you didn't get the hook up. So if
Yeah.
you have what it takes to work here, so you come here. Now, after you come, it is let's see. So basically, let's take the relational perspective. So after you get connected with the person and they agree to date you, now let's see the performance. Now in the work world, you got the 90. I know it used to be the 90-day, although you don't see it enforced as much today.
Right.
But
Right.
once
Right.
upon a time, it was that true
90-day
90-day review. And it
performance.
didn't matter
Yeah.
where you work. You was getting that email from
Yeah.
HR saying, yeah, your review and all
Right.
this. And then you got to go in there and it kind of keeps you on a track to let you know how the relationship between you and them
Right.
is jiving so far.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you go from there and on and on. And depending on your level at work, so those of you that are managers know that or above that, you know that there's a certain part of the year where you have to do an assessment. Your team does a self-assessment, right?
Mhm.
And those self-assessments of them come to you to see whether or not they jive with the way you've been tracking it, right? And then you have those conversations. They give their comments, you give yours, and
Mhm.
so on and so forth. And that whole thing goes out like that.
Right.
So before we kick this off today, Adam, you want to do the read and we can go from there?
Sure. All right, here we go. The metrics of love. How did we perform? At the workplace, we give probation periods, 90-day reviews, and end of year assessments. However, has there ever been a notion to track the metrics of not only your relationship performance, but your self love initiatives as well? Imagine coming together to gauge how the last year of 6 months went. Imagine having to talk of resolve with yourself and come to honest terms with how you showed up on behalf of yourself. Let's talk about it.
All right. So, Adam, so the thing I have learned, I have come to learn, and I really think we take this part of the process for granted.
Okay.
And that is we tend to feel like if I however I prepare myself, whether it is if a woman gets her hair done and wear her favorite dress or her outfit or whatever, and she just shows up looking like she looks, right?
Mhm.
Same with the men. He get his whatever, his gear, his haircut, he looks correct. He has the proper things to walk the walk. He
Mhm.
shows up and all of a sudden he becomes a viable option for someone to dig, right?
Okay.
But look at it this way. Um, the one thing we can't see is we can't see your level of self-love when we meet. And I
Interesting.
think we underestimate just how much, and this part has been really tearing at me is when I think about it, when I was thinking about this show,
Hmm.
I thought about it like this. If we struggle to show our own self proper love, and
Mm.
that could be a assortment of things, the way we take care of ourselves, are you doing exercise, all sorts of things, right?
Right,
That
right.
can contribute to you loving on you. Has
Yeah,
nothing to do with anybody else, just you.
right.
But we tend to think we can ignore that and immediately jump to loving someone else.
Mm.
And the thing of it is, if anybody is failing at loving them, you are bound to fail at loving the other person,
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
so I think we have to start before we get into any of these metrics. The biggest and most important metrics is the self love.
Yeah,
How are you loving you? You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very, very, very important point to make is the fact that, if we're not doing right by ourselves in terms of taking care of ourselves, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, if we're not doing the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves, then that's that's a clear indication that we're not going to be able to take care of anybody else, that we lack the capacity to take care of somebody else because we have not shown that we can take care of ourselves. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? We're not even standing on our own 2 feet, as it were, to be able to do what we need to do for us, let alone somebody else. That's why it's so important, especially when you're leaving the home first, from when you're leaving your parents' home, that you have a job that you can that can sustain you, that you have an apartment, that you're able to pay your rent and pay your bills on time. These are the things that take care of you. And so
yeah,
if you want to add somebody else to that equation, but you have not done what you needed to do for you, you still live in your parents' home, or you haven't gotten a job yet. You're spending time doing things that are frivolous and doesn't they don't add any productivity to anything. Then yeah, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem later on down the line because it's obviously going to show that you can't be responsible for you. So if you
mm,
can't be responsible for you, how are you going to be responsible for somebody else? How are you going to be in a relationship with somebody else and you're not even in a good relationship with you? And I
wow.
think we often undercut and we underestimate the value of having a healthy relationship with ourselves. And,
Wow.
and let's be honest, though, right? So we don't even think about it in those terms.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't treat each other, we don't treat ourselves the way that we should. We're
Mm.
very we don't nurture, we don't nourish ourselves,
Educate
and
ourselves.
we don't educate
Yeah.
ourselves. We don't give ourselves time off. We don't give ourselves a break. And so this is the reason why we kind of, behave the way that we behave with others that are in our lives, because we don't do for ourselves the way that we should. So let alone can
Wow.
we help somebody else out? You know what I'm saying? That's
Wow.
that's it's not a good idea to do. It's not a good idea
Yeah.
to do. And I think that often leads to problems in relationships because we are not in a good space with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not in a good space with me, if I'm not on good terms with me, ain't no way I'm gonna be on good terms with you.
Yeah.
That's a wash. That's
And you
done.
know what that ends up equating to is because anybody that's not in a good space with them, they
Mhm.
know it.
Yeah.
You know when you're not in a good space.
Yeah.
But what happens is we find ourselves in various relationships and it's like a struggle. You're struggling because you're not good with you.
Right.
So, but you're trying to still maintain. So it's not that the other person can't oblige and love you back and try,
Right.
but it's just a heavier lift when the
Yeah.
love for you is not properly there, right?
Because
So
you're not loving
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, for sure.
You're not loving
Yeah.
yourself. And so how is somebody else going to be able to love you if you don't even love yourself? You don't love it. You don't love yourself enough to take yourself to the doctor to get checked out. You don't love
Wow.
yourself enough to eat the right foods on a daily basis. You don't love yourself
Yeah.
enough to pray or meditate or read your word. You know what I'm saying? You don't love yourself enough to do the things that indicate that you are taking care of yourself. What are we trying to say? We're trying to say, do you value you? Do you
Mm.
see the value in yourself? And if you're not doing these things that indicate value, that you see worth and value in yourself, you're certainly not going to do it for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Wow.
if you do, it's going to be a very toxic, debilitated version of
it.
love for somebody else if you're
Wow.
not getting it yourself. And
Wow.
I think sometimes we have, some of us have walked into, have been in relationships where that's been the case. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Where, because of the fact that they did not they did not love themselves the way that they should have. When they tried to show love to you, it was like an almost deformed form of love.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Because they didn't love themselves. So how do you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Well, Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, how do you love your neighbor? I'm just asking a question.
You just
He
give him a
said,
cup of sugar. You give him a cup of sugar. That's it. That's
I
all you gotta do.
mean, he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't love yourself, how do you love your neighbor?
That's it. So okay, let's take it to the online world of AI and talk about what AI thinks of the metrics of love.
Okay.
So what it says is metrics of love aren't a single number, but a blend of behaviors, feelings, and commitments measured by psychologists through components like Sternberg's intimacy, passion, and commitment, IPC, or observable actions like consistent care, mutual respect, emotional support, shared vulnerability, and attentive nonverbal cues like mutual gaze and responding to bids. It's about actions, showing support, valuing the partner, and deep connection, not just fleeting emotions. Key components in models that love is a mix of passion, which is defined as physical attraction, and romance, intimacy, closeness, emotional bonding, and sharing. And lastly, commitment, the decision to stay together. So if we look at it like that, if we're looking at from the metrics part of it, so there's the passion piece, which is the physical attraction and the romance, the
Right.
dating, I guess, the intimacy, the closeness, the bonding, the sharing, and then the commitment, the decision to continue to stay together. So that's I mean, it seems simple, but it's really not. It seems simple to note down, but when you think about it like that and add it, so if you think about all those responsibilities, if you're looking at their responsibilities, if you
Right.
look at those against your lack of love, it makes the road tough
Oh
for
yeah.
yourself. If the lack
Yeah.
of love for you isn't there, it makes the road really tough. Yeah.
Right. But you know what though? So and if we all could be honest about this, And that is the fact that we all know the areas of improvement that we need to work on for ourselves. Everybody is aware to some degree or another of what area within themselves that they need to improve upon.
Yeah.
Everybody. And here's the thing though, right? So when it comes to since we're using the analogy of the job, so you know on your job what you're supposed to do, what your responsibility is, what your duties are. But
Yeah.
you know where you come up short in certain responsibilities and duties.
Yeah.
So when your boss comes to evaluate you and tell you, it's not really a big surprise. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I mean, there might be some things that they might say that might come as a shock or, oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. But then there are other things that they say and you go, you might not say it out loud. You might not,
off.
but you go in your mind, you go, yep, I need to do that. I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do that. And so, and when it comes to us doing, I guess, the self-evaluation, we all know the areas that we need to improve in. Let's not act like we don't know. Let's not act like it's just some mystery. It's not. You know what you need to do. Just do it.
But here's the key, Adam. And since we staying in the work zone,
yeah,
you and I both know no one likes to hear like it sounds good, but we do not like to hear when someone, like, you can be sitting with your boss and the minute they start with well, Adam, I see this as an area of development for you because there has some, there's been some deficiency points here, and then we always in our own mind want to refute it because we know we have our own version of the truth.
Well, yeah.
And then there is the truth that the boss sees.
Right.
That's all that really matters at the point.
Right.
So they're saying, we, especially when they go with the we mean others have collaborated with them on this theory too, right? So now it's just like, okay. And so it's not a good, you talked about this earlier. It takes a level of maturity to really sit and listen to somebody stew you.
Yeah.
When someone really is giving you a stern critique, and especially about the relationship, because they're involved in it.
Right.
They're involved in, so their feelings matter. Where we are going matters, all those things. And when they hit you with your behavior, and pretty much they're letting you know you ain't been showing up good. And it doesn't feel good, but you, like you said earlier, when you have not been showing up, right? You know when you have not been showing up. Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly where you have missed the mark. You know where you have come up short. You know where you have not been where you need to be. And so for some, don't act like it's a complete surprise. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. No, you knew that. And you just need to be able to deal with the reality of what it actually is. And just as a little side note, so what would happen if you're aware of what your issue is, and before they had a moment to say it, you actually started working on it? What would happen then? But anyway, that's a whole nother side thing. That's a whole nother side thing.
Because you know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because like you said, like I was mentioning earlier, I think often we kind of shy away from this part of relationships because we don't want to get our feelings hurt off of what the other person's going to say.
Yeah.
And because we don't want to get out, we rather not deal with the reality that they might say something that is true. It's not a lie, but I don't really want to hear that. Let's be honest.
And then we can take it even further.
Yeah.
Let's just really be honest. The way we listen to the person who's responsible for making sure we still get our paycheck, right?
Okay.
And the way we listen to our respective partners or spouses,
that's a whole different story.
It's different. That's what I mean. So think about it. So you already having an attitude and feeling a way about your boss telling you what they see from their perspective, whether they're right, wrong, and different. That's what they say in their seat that you need to develop in these areas. So then you go home, Adam, and if you're a married person, It's just like you get into your little stuff, and then your wife may be like, well, honey, what's going on? I just want to talk because something I need to get off my chest. So now you call yourself giving her review of how things have been here recently. I don't think we've been really gelling here recently. Then 9 times out of 10 at home, we're going to do a little more than we would do at work. And what I mean by this, at work, when the boss starts telling you, you might have body language, you may look a little funny, you may look a little dejected. But what you're probably not going to do unless you're ready to leave out that day is start turning around and hurling back at them their deficiencies. Like at home, the minute you go to saying at home that something isn't right or I'm not feeling a certain way, the next thing is going to happen. Well, you know what? If you had did that, I would not have to react. There's going to be a contingency there, right? It's different. We're at work in a different capacity. We're not able to get away with some of that. But at home, it's more challenging because the average person, the man and woman dynamic at home does not want to hear, unless they're extremely mature in their relationship. Yeah. They don't want to sit there and be riddled by the other person. Because I
think it's a way to address those things. But you're right, and I think we keep hitting back at the fact that, well, this goes back to what we started out saying, right?
Yeah.
That I need to be mature enough to be able to listen to the truth that they bring, even if it makes me uncomfortable. And I think some of us, when it comes to, and then this is the thing that we were talking about in terms of us working on ourselves, working on me so that I can increase and grow and develop my maturity to the point where when my wife says, blah, you need to do blah, 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 I don't immediately go into retaliation mode. Oh, you want to tell me what to do? Oh, I'm going to tell you what to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so it means that now I'm going to have to grow up on some level, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to actually, not go to my first response. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, me wanting to get back tit for tat. Oh, you told me that, well, I'm going to tell you this. You told me that, well, I'm going to tell, and we going back and forth. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, right? But we're just going back and forth with one another. So that means I'm going to have to grow up. I'm going to have to grow up in terms of, let me say it like this. If we would just allow ourselves the ability, or the space rather, if we would allow ourselves the space to listen to what the other person has to say without getting offended at what they say. Because again, I can't get away from this point. We kind of already know what the issue is. But for whatever reasons, Charles, we just don't want to deal with it. We just don't want to handle it.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to, okay, as far as I am concerned for myself, am I doing what I need to do to mature? You know what I'm saying? Am I growing up in this relationship the way that I need to? Am I showing up in this relationship like I need to? And I think some of us who are even here, who are watching right now, you would have to admit, there's some things that I need to work on.
Or grow up in.
Yeah. But again, with that, there is this reluctance to do it.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it because we don't want to do it. Even though we know we should do it. We should grow up.
Well, think about it like this. Even when it comes to work, we've got the job, we come in, and the first thing we want to do is get everybody used to how we prefer to work.
Right.
And it's the same thing in relationships. We come into a relationship with somebody, and they could have their idea of either it being great or they could have had toxic past or whatever.
Right.
But the first thing everybody does is someone is in a race to get you to be acclimated to their ways of loving. They want to get you used to, whether that is dysfunctional or it's great, or it may cause you to stretch and grow. We
Yeah.
want you to get used to it. And people don't like to necessarily come into a pattern of a structure that someone else has an idea or design. This is the ladies can probably echo this. A lot of times when women might meet a guy and it starts off good, and women are going to give you a courtesy to see how you are going to start loving them on your own. The things you're going to do, the sweet nothings. Are you going to be thoughtful? Are you going to plan dates? All those things. If you don't, then eventually you're going to start seeing the structure bus come by. And when the structure bus come by, it's going to be like, well, this is what I like, and these are the places. I mean, I saw this on Instagram, and you're like, So, but that's really the manager at work letting you know, Adam, I've been reviewing your work, and it has not been so good.
Right.
And so I need you to kind of start amping it up a little bit. Well, let's turn the corner.
Okay.
So we talked about earlier about, you brought up the good point about how the company just wants you to work the one job. We're going to equate this to, so if we go back in the day before the pandemic, now people have always maybe had 2 and 3 jobs, but maybe they didn't work them at the same time. Maybe somebody got off and had a night job, or people had 3 jobs on a weekend. But it was hard for you to cheat work.
Right.
Now, if we take it in a relationship standpoint, people have always dealt with infidelity for years. But let's face it, it has been an extreme uptick in infidelity since online world. Whether it is online dating, dating apps, whether it is inboxes, whether it is social media, whatever the case is, it has changed things. And so now what people think that they can do is more than one. And in the work environment, you got people that work from home, and they juggle 2 and 3 jobs from home because they don't have to go in and here's the key word, and report to any of them. They just govern it behind the lines.
Right.
And so as long as they behind the lines, as long as I can tell anybody this. As long as you feel as though, as long as you can manage the meetings, the hardest part about juggling jobs is managing the meetings. Depending on what level that you are working, if you're a manager or above anything, you're going to be on some calls. And if ever you can't, the magic is you can't have 3 of the same job, or you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to do that, and then you're gonna I gotta quit. But nonetheless, I'm just saying that to say this is how we have adopted in the social stratosphere. And this is why so many people are doing so many things, because we have this wall in front of us that wasn't always there. It wasn't this availability like it is today. So it makes whatever self-deficiencies you have already before this, it really brings it to light how dysfunctional you are. Because the best way to see what someone is dealing with is put in front of them what tempts them. It's like the mouse trap. If they go out there and get the cheese, I knew it. I knew eventually he's gonna come get the cheese.
Wow.
So you know what my point is. So we have to look at it. So that shifts my question to this. If we're still tracking metrics, just like at work, when the employee that obviously had what they thought it took to do the job. So in the relationship, the man or woman that you thought had what it took to do the job, gets to a point where their performance is not reflecting. And what happens then in the work world is, I'm sorry, Adam, we're going to have to put you on a PIP, a performance improvement plan.
Oh, wow.
And that can typically, I've seen them go with some people as long as they give you a favor. You might get 60 days out of it. But a lot of times when they're really sick of you, you only got really 30 days.
Yeah, you get it together.
To show them some, and that's probably the most stressful 30 days of your life, because they already want to get you out of there. Look, so Adam, in the old world we came up in, don't you come back with no docket mistakes.
Oh, no.
That's it. We're going to get you on Friday. You out.
Come on. Yeah.
So the point is, so we think about, if we're thinking about this in a relational sense, is there a such thing as a performance improvement? Meaning,
wow,
this is really bad, the bad place we in. And I mean, do you agree? Because like you said, they're gonna ask you, do you agree first? Because you
Right.
gotta sign
Because
off
you got to
on
sign
it,
it.
right?
You got to sign off
So
on
they're
that
gonna
joint.
ask you,
Yeah.
do you agree with these findings? This is what I see here, and this right here just I thought that you could do this job. I want to believe in you, but it's just been not working. And you just like, you already want to say. But anyway, so make a long story short, you agree to this PIP, and I've seen some people turn it around. Some
Yeah,
people,
you can.
but
You absolutely
most of
can.
them, when they get on it, they don't get off. But I have
Wow.
worked with some people that have gotten them, and they still strive. But then, but the bad thing is, it's in your file. It just keeps getting worse and worse in the file jacket.
Right.
They survive. But then there are some people, when they put you on them, that's it.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, in the love world, if we tried something like that, what would that go over, Adam? To tell somebody, this, look, Adam, you come home one day and Maria got this piece. She's like this, honey, I want you to look at this. I need you to pay attention to 2.2-3 and what I told you 6 times in a row to dump the trash, and I had to do it.
Wow.
This is obsessive. I'm just making an example, right? And so the point is, when they bringing you up on whatever charges it is, and then tell you, wait, I'm afraid if I don't see any change in the next 2 months, that I'm gonna have to go to court. You just like, wait.
Or better yet, I'm putting her on a PIP. I'm putting her on a PIP. I haven't got what I needed. Look, I'm already gonna be in trouble, so it don't even matter. It don't even matter. It don't even matter at this point. Don't even matter. I mean, yeah, that's kind of crazy though, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I don't know. I shouldn't say nothing.
Come on.
just
yeah.
Now, in my work life, I've been working for, in terms of the career that I've had 30 plus years or whatever like that, right?
Yeah.
And I remember being in one particular evaluation, right? Don't get in trouble, Adam. I remember being in one evaluation where they was just, they were telling me the stuff that I know I needed to do, but I did not want to hear it. I was not happy after that evaluation, man. I was not happy. And I think for a minute, I might have been on probation.
Oh, wow.
I might have been on probation. Now, I worked my way out of it. I definitely worked my way out of it, but I was not happy with that whole situation, man.
Wow.
And I think when you put somebody in that type of, I guess, quote unquote, probation, now the pressure's on. If you apply this to the relationship aspect of it, that's
rough.
That's a crazy conversation. I mean, but here's the thing though, right? So it's not just the one person that's on the PIP, because
it's two
they're
people
not the only contributor to the state of the relationship, right?
That's good.
It's both of us. So now the both of us are on the PIP. We're in this period of time where we need to make improvements to the relationship.
Yeah.
And we need to do things that are going to help us to grow together in this relationship. Yeah. So yeah, you got a list, I got a list. Let's go.
What?
Let's go. What you want me to do some things better? I want you to do some things better. Let's talk about it. Let's be real.
And that's what people should have. If we're being honest, we should have those kind of conversations.
Real. We should. I mean, why shouldn't we talk about what's really happening with us? But again, we're reluctant to have these conversations because we both of us fear retaliation. And we're not coming from a place. Here's the thing though. We're not coming from a place where we want to see the relationship work. Where we want to see things become better. Okay, let me say it like this. Part of us wants to see the relationship better, but then there's another part of us that just wants to criticize somebody else and accuse them of not doing, because we're frustrated because they have not done what we wanted them to do. And so this is my time to get back at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is my time to be right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
You can have that. Okay. You know what? You're absolutely right. With what you said about me in terms of what I need to do. Okay, yeah, I need to take the garbage out. I haven't been doing it. You're absolutely right. But at the same time that I haven't been taking the garbage out, you haven't been bringing in the mail. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Are we going to actually try to work on our relationship? And how do we work on our relationship? We work on our relationship by working on us, number one.
Yeah.
Because us is the reason why we have a relationship. If I wasn't in it, and if you weren't in it, we wouldn't be in this. You know what I'm saying? So I need to work on me. You need to work on you. I need to be more consistent. You need to be more present. I need to be more communicative. You need to be more supportive. So we're both doing what we need to do. We both realize that there are things that we both need to improve upon. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to say some things that might not necessarily make the other person feel good. I remember having a conversation with Maria. This was like last year sometime. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember what we were talking about at the time. But she was saying some things to me that I had no choice but to agree upon. There was nothing I couldn't. I didn't have a defense, as it were, to say, well, this is the reason why this didn't happen, and this is the reason why. No, I literally had to acquiesce and say, you know what, you're absolutely right. I need to work on that. And I'm telling you that I was like, because here's the thing though, Charles, when they come at you and they present to you the truth of the matter, and you know that it's true, the only choice you have is to humble yourself. And I think some of us don't like to humble ourselves. I gotta humble myself. You are absolutely positively correct in your assessment of me. That is something that I have not done. That is something that I have failed in. I gotta surrender, right? I gotta humble myself and really take in what you say. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, absolutely right. Delivery matters. Delivery. She wasn't coming at me with knives and with a razor. You know what I'm saying? But she was coming from a sincere place of, baby, I need to see this change.
Man, he was on a pip. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. No, I'm teasing.
I might have been. But I might have been on a pip.
You know, that's the deep part about it, because a lot of people find themselves on an unspoken pip. It's that's unspoken, true. But to think about it, at work, the pip has to be managed a certain way because of laws.
Exactly.
So they, even though they may want to say, we don't like Adam, get him out here tomorrow, they can't do it on paper.
They can't do it
because legally you got to go through this course.
You got to
unless you in these at will places, right?
Right.
Depends. But in the relationship world, it can get a little fake jaded, because there is no recourse to someone saying they don't like what's performing here and I'm done.
Wow.
They want to be done, they're done. And what do you do about that? But you made me think about something when you talked about the mailbox versus taking the trash out. Mm-hmm. What that told me is it's two things happening that are considered deficiencies.
Right.
But the problem, what I got out of that and what I could relate to and seeing in different things, times past, present, or whatever, is a lot of times we get caught up in the lack happening rather than the overall state.
Got it.
The overall state says, before I come to you, Adam, about telling you about the trash can, I need to check myself to make sure my world is clean.
Exactly.
And we don't do that. The first thing we do is, it's like we all lead with the manager bringing you into the office for the review. Mm-hmm. We don't sit back and take the assessment to say, he did tell me about the mailbox, and I think I probably leave it out there for him to get it just as long as he don't dump the trash.
Yeah.
Both of them can get up under your skin, but they're both mutual points to work on.
Right.
We all have it, but lack just seems to yell louder than anything else. Anything you're not doing, you're going to hear it without a person checking first their own metric. Yeah. Am I doing these things? And listen, here's where it gets even more trickier. Yes, I am. By whose barometer?
Right.
Because most people are going to tell you they are doing this. But if you're holding them to the fire on it, obviously it's not being done, right? But we think it does. And so what matters is, do both of us agree that we need to work on these areas? Not just you finding my stuff or calling me out. Is it both of us? We both have to work on one thing to another to get this thing right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're not at work. We're not governed by rules. Like you're saying, in marriage, there are laws, right? But
Right.
even in them, people still go down to the courthouse quick. You know what I'm saying? But the
Yeah.
point I'm saying is there are rules and laws, but there are some things that if a person don't want to deal with you, they're going to be done. And that's
Yeah.
simply as that, you know?
Yeah, particularly when it comes to the whole work thing. Uh, I guess coming from an aspect of a supervisor or even a coworker,
Yeah.
and that is the fact that in order to be able, or at least your evaluation should be based on the history of what that person has done
Mm.
in terms of their work product, the productivity, the efficiency of what they do. All of that is based on their work history within that place, right? And I am going to be able to determine how productive you will be based on what you have done in the past, right?
Mm.
Because it's a clear indication of future behavior is past behavior. What
Correct.
you've done is what you will do. And so this is where we come into the whole relationship idea, right? That I've seen your history in terms of how we've interacted with one another and the things that we have done, the things that we haven't done. And as a result of those things, in terms of the history between the two of us, I see what you have done.
Mm.
And I see where you have come from. However, in this history, I also am able to assess what you haven't done, the lack that you were talking about, Charles, the deficiency that
Yeah.
might be there. So when I'm talking about the whole idea of this relationship improving and continuing to grow, it's based on what you have done or haven't done
Yeah.
in the past.
Correct.
In order to be able to properly, I'm going to switch to human resources real quick. In order to be able to properly, lawfully terminate somebody,
Mm.
you have to document them historically in
Yeah.
terms of their
Paper trail.
insubordination. Right.
Yeah.
You have to create a paper trail in terms of their insubordination, the metrics that they have not met. Maybe they are creating chaos with other coworkers around the area. These are all things that historically have to be documented.
Yeah.
So that we have a record, a historical record of what you've done. In our relationships, it's pretty much the same way. I'm relating to you based off of where you've come from in terms of how we have been with each other in the relationship. And some of that hasn't always been the greatest. Some of that always hasn't been the best. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking at what we have done, or I'm looking at what I've done and need to change historically with you, so that tomorrow I can be better than I was today, and I can certainly be better than I was yesterday.
Wow.
Because my history plays a large part in that, right?
Yeah.
In terms of my behavior, in terms of what I do, in terms of how we conduct one another. I think sometimes we like to ignore the things that we've done, positive and negative, and just base it on today. Well, you can't just base it on today. How have we been up until this point in time?
Because how we haven't been has sown the seed of behavior in the person.
Absolutely.
Like those things that we haven't done is a lot of the times why people morph to show up the way they are today, right?
Yeah.
And the argument sometimes comes like, why can't you behave well whether it's at the hand of me or not? Like, why do I have to be the person responsible for how you show up, right? It makes you feel that way, but at the same time, in relationships, that's just the kind of the way it's governed. People, I can act a certain way on my own away from you, single, but with you, I'm expecting this so that I can show up like that.
Right.
And so I think that's the thing we have to hone in on is just, when we're in these things and when you're thinking of keeping the metrics, and then we're gonna quickly switch to the single side. If you're in these relationships and you're keeping the metrics, while you're keeping metrics, it's also equally important to keep it fair.
Yeah.
Because you know where you dropped the ball at before
Right.
you over there writing, taking, because we quick to pull out a pen and pad and keep track of what we don't like.
Right.
But we dare not put on there me. I didn't do this.
I
I
didn't do
did
this.
this.
Right.
It's gonna
Right.
all be a list about what you didn't do.
What you didn't do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's so important for people to. It's okay to speak on your metrics and keep them, but be fair when you're administering them and make sure you're including yourself in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, it's two people. It's not just one person
Right.
controlling the relationship. It's two
Right.
people.
It
So
shouldn't be, at
yeah,
least.
it's two input. Yeah, you're right. It should. In some cases it is.
Some
But
cases, I don't know.
yeah, so yeah, man. So all right. So if we switch gears, when it comes, people are probably thinking, oh, well, how do you concern yourself with metrics as a single person? Well, as a single person, the most single important thing you want to do is not repeat the metric of something dysfunctional or toxic, right? You don't
Okay.
want to repeat that, whatever that looks like, whether that meant, did I come on too strong? Was I too desperate? Or was I too easy, right? Was I
Okay.
too easy? Should I have made that decision that soon? Should I have maybe tabled the relationship until said time or whatever? Did I
Okay.
have to be like the fools rush in, right? So the
Mhm.
point is, there are a lot of angles about relationships where people that are single that are navigating throughout one to the other, and when they're done, a lot of the times what you hear nowadays is, you know what, I'm over it. Listen, I don't want to see no more women. I don't want to see no more men. I'm done. That's the first thing people say nowadays. It's, it's pee in the water. I'm tired of it.
Wow.
Too many games. But you know what that also can tell you, if we really take a step back,
Yeah.
you're not paying attention to the metric of you.
Okay.
Because as a single person, the only metric that matters is yours.
Yeah.
So are you paying attention to those things to keep you from getting that frustrated? Because
Mhm.
because I guarantee you, we don't like to say it like this, but a lot of times
Mm.
the reason we get jacked
Mhm.
is because we drop the ball emotionally in the
Okay.
self-love category.
Okay.
It's something we didn't necessarily do to make sure we were. I mean, sure, people are going to be jerks. People are going to do certain things. They're going to
Mhm.
take advantage, cheat, or whatever you call it. You can't control that. But in
Right.
some cases, there are sometimes we have one of the things I feel as though happens in the single world more times than not
Mhm.
is we tend to think the narrative will somehow shift because of me. I know this
Mm.
is going on. I've seen it for 3, 4, 5 years. I know. But because I'm involved, the narrative will change. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions. Because a lot of the times, narratives don't change unless the person really wants to change it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It's not going to
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, and often the narrative is not even true. It's not even based on reality. It's based on the story that we tell ourselves
Yeah.
versus it being actually true. You
Yeah.
know. But I think it, like you've been talking about, in terms of being single. Yeah, it goes back to what we started out talking about, and that is that whole idea of self-assessment,
Yeah.
self-evaluation, understanding yourself, taking care of yourself, doing what you need to do for yourself. Because again, you know, unfortunately, we go into relationships without actually understanding us first.
Hmm.
And so when we don't understand us, we have a hard time trying to understand somebody else or trying
Hmm.
to value somebody else because we haven't given ourselves the proper value that we should have. And if we don't have the proper value when we walk into relationships, we allow others to designate what our value is, which is not right. It's
Yeah.
not right. If you don't know how much you are, how are you going to ask somebody else how much you are? They're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you. But
Right.
that's not a true assessment of how
Right.
much you
It's
really
just their
actually are.
opinion.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
saying?
their
And I
opinion.
think
Yeah.
we need to actually take a moment for ourselves. It's the reason why you don't jump into a brand new relationship when you just got out of a previous relationship. You don't
Yeah.
even have time. You haven't even taken the time out to get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm.
probably didn't get yourself together before you got into that relationship, which is the reason
Mm.
why you broke up in the first place because you
Mm.
haven't done what you needed to do for you. You
Yeah.
might be expecting everybody else to do for you, but you haven't done for you the way that you should do for you. You know what I'm saying? So before you take another step forward into that next place, take a minute. That's right. Take a minute.
Yeah.
Slow it down and reassess yourself for who
Yeah.
you actually are. And see, this is the thing though, right? We don't really want to have a conversation with us
Yeah.
because we can't lie, or rather we can lie, but we
Yeah.
should not be lying to ourselves.
No. Yeah. And we
And
do.
but unfortunately we do. And here's the thing though, Charles, we buy into that narrative, that manufactured artificial narrative that is not based in reality. It
But
ain't true.
But sometimes, Adam, it feels good to just believe it.
It
We
feels
can stand
good.
here together. The relationship could be, it could
Oh,
be to
Lord.
trash. But we can both look at the window. Oh, look at how it looks over there in Rio de Janeiro. But I thought we were saying, shh, it's Rio de Janeiro. Okay. But I see over there, we both see together, and that's it. But listen, as crazy as it may sound, a lot of relationships live well in the state of mirage.
That's true.
It's only when
Unfortunately.
people try to make it, don't tear down my mirage. Yeah, I
Right.
know it's not great on the other side of it, but it works like this. But when
Yeah.
you go trying to tear down the thing, this green screen behind me, and show me what's really back there, I don't want to see that. I
Right.
want to see this. And you
I wanna
call
see
it
this.
crazy, call it dysfunctional, but sometimes you don't need to pull down all the curtains.
You don't.
Let the
Actually need to
curtains
open
be
them.
as they are. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't need to pull down everything and let people. Sometimes people move in their spaces well because hey, it's what it is. And as long as it's something that's not abusing you or mentally or physically or whatever, why do you want to take it upon yourself to be God to fix it? Right?
Wow.
It ain't
Wow.
you're not God, but too many of us, we take it upon ourselves to be God and go and rectify and fix and uplift, break, tear down. Who do you think you are? You're not
Wow.
God to do any of that. So at the end of the day, it's all a matter of choice.
Mhm.
It's either you are willing to, like you said, you come to the table with your pip. First, before you get to the pip, you have your development conversation.
Mhm.
Like, these are the things I just want you to put on your plate that I'm seeing. I would love to see a little more of this. And then you give the person their chance to tell you, but you can't get no attitude when they
Right.
tell you what they see, because
Right.
whatever someone sees is their honest opinion. Whether
Yeah.
you think it's crazy or not,
Or not,
it's how
right.
they see it. So
Yeah.
let them see it, tell you what they see, and then walk away from. Heck, you want to do a good exercise, have that conversation. Both of y'all write it down in your notes and then come back to it some months. Say, I remember I wrote this down. So how do you think I did? A whole lot better. Or you know what? This just not working for me. Whatever the
Right.
case is,
Right.
but you are tracking it, right?
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's there. At least you can say, we talked about it. But like I said, man, a lot of this stuff, and when you have conversations about metrics and things, it makes you want to strip it all down and resurrect it in a more healthier way. Because I know for a fact, I mean, yeah, I can think I'm a pretty good communicator, but I know for a fact I haven't really participated in a bunch of metric-like conversations.
Okay.
I probably didn't want to hear it either.
Probably
I
right.
don't want to hear it. I just
I'm
want
gonna tell
the
you.
Bible
anyway, though.
says, "Protect your eyes and ear gate." Don't bring it to me.
I'm telling
Don't
you.
try to
Oh,
use
you
the
gonna
Bible.
find
Don't
out.
try to use the Bible anyway. So yeah, but no,
Whatever,
because I'm gonna be honest. It's a slippery slope because feedback and communication is so important.
Mhm.
But like Dion said, if that delivery is off, you don't never want to have the communication.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that part. Communication can be good, but if it feels like a lashing, you don't want to have the talk.
True.
Because it don't feel like we're communicating. It feels like I'm getting beat up
Mhm.
in the worst way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's hard for you to want to listen and respond. People to be like, oh, you just want to run. Yeah, wouldn't you run if it started raining and you ain't got a jacket? You're gonna run too. Anybody
Right.
run, you're gonna rain on them. So
Right.
you
right.
gotta find a way to have a conversation that both of you all can listen without being offended and really
Mhm.
get through to it and be all right. That's all.
So allow me to flip the script on this right here. Allow me to flip the script on this because I think we've done a good job so far in talking about areas of improvement, liabilities, areas of deficiency where we need to do better. I think we've done a good job in terms of talking about that. So allow me to flip the script, and so let's talk about let's talk about giving that person your appreciation, because
Mm.
I think we lack that. Because for whatever reason, I don't know why we don't like to tell somebody they did a good job. I don't know why sometimes people don't tell each other that they appreciate them as much as they should. Oh, they know I appreciate them. They know I appreciate
Mm.
them going there and doing that. I don't need to say nothing to them. No, yes, you do. You
You
need
need
to
to say
open
it.
up your mouth and say to them, I appreciate what you've done. How else are they going to know? See what we do is we don't do the sandwich concept. You know what the sandwich concept is?
Yeah.
You give a compliment, then you cite a problem, then you go another compliment. We don't
Correct.
do that. It's problem, and more problem.
More problem.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't even tell them the good things that they actually do. You know what I'm saying? And I think
All bad.
that's an issue, right? Because we're only talking about the negative things. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real straight up with you. If
Okay.
all you do is tell me the bad that I do, I ain't gonna be around for very long. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Are you for real?
I'll do.
But
Listen.
it's
I
constructive though.
already know the bad that I do.
Mm.
And I'm gonna work on the bad that I do. But am I doing anything right? Because if I'm
Oh, I
not
get
doing
it. Okay. Anything right? What's the point?
if I'm not doing anything right, then why am I even hanging around? If I'm not doing anything right, why are you still hanging around? If it's that bad, Charles,
Mm.
Charles,
Mm.
Charles, if it's that bad, why are you
Why
still
I'm still
here?
hanging around?
Why are we
Wow.
still with each other? And so I think we neglect to tell that person how good they've done what they've done. Ooh,
Mm.
ooh, ooh, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. We neglect to tell ourselves that we did a good job with what we did.
Right.
We neglect to say, hey, you know what? You did all right with that. You did good. How many times have you actually gotten in the mirror and said, you know what? You did okay today.
By yourself.
You did by yourself. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We don't do that. And so because we don't do that to ourselves, we don't do that to each other like we should.
Yeah.
We don't.
But
Listen,
go ahead.
again, let me just say this real quick. You know how you know the first chapter of Genesis, God created the heaven and the earth, blah, 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 blah. Okay. In that last few verses of scripture where after he creates the heaven and the earth, he says, the word says, he says it was good. It was very good.
Compliment.
He was complimenting himself because there was nobody else around to do it for him. He was complimenting himself on the good job that he did. How many of y'all tell yourselves you did a good job?
Wow.
Because if you tell yourself you did a good job, then you're more apt and more willing to tell somebody else that they also did a good job. I'm just saying. It can't just be negative. We got to have some positive somewhere in there.
I'm going to say that again. But listen, here's the thing. I think in our cultures of dating and relating and all of this, the reason you don't hear that a lot, because, I think the whole concept of hating has taken a really bad root.
Mm-hmm.
And the hating part is I can deal with you as long as I'm seeing you eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do well looking up to you.
Wow.
See, looking up is when you come back and, do you know they made me the VP of the whole organization. Oh, that's good. Don't get cute because I remember. Don't forget it. Remember when your credit was bad? Like seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, it's like you have to. It takes you pulling of yourself to come out of yourself to compliment someone, even when you're having a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your life isn't in a great place or your job isn't super, but if you really love the person deep down, you're going to move past the hating and the competitive component and just be like, I'm proud of you. I love you. You've been doing so great and you deserve it. That will go so far rather than someone sowing a seed to let you not forget where you came from.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
right. Yeah, I mean, what's the harm in telling somebody they did good?
Yeah.
What's the harm in telling somebody you look good today? You look all right today. Again, it makes the whole conversation. See, the conversation, if it's all just about the stuff that I'm not doing, then that's a very one-sided, lopsided, unbalanced conversation because it's just focusing on the negative. But
Yeah.
if we're having an actual conversation, it can't just be negative. It's got to be positive too. Baby, you way you cooked that pork chop was so good and tasty. Baby, I love the way that you support me and take care of me. Baby, I love the way that you show up for me and that you're present with me. I appreciate all of the things that you do for me. I think
Yeah.
because when this makes the conversation in terms of evaluation easier to have because
Yeah.
now it's not just about the negatives or the where I come up short at, but it's also about you do good with what you do, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
That brings me to a time when I challenged in a nice way my
Mhm.
boss one time.
Okay, okay.
And she put a lot of pressure on me one time to deliver this. It was like a strategic operational plan for the whole company. So there was a
Yeah.
lot of stress behind it. And so
Wow.
I was just like, all right. So you had to do all of this stuff and research to get it together. And when I finally did it myself, when I finished, and I did one of the, like you said, the Genesis thing, I was like, and you did good to
You
me,
did
right?
good.
To me, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is really good. I surprised myself because it
Yeah.
was daunting at first, but I was like,
Right.
okay, this looks good. But I
Yeah.
noticed this one thing. When I submitted it to her, she quickly responded and said, thanks, this looks amazing. But when she put it out for public consumption to the C-suite and above people. So those
Yeah.
of you who don't know, the C-suite is like
See,
VPs, chief
yeah.
legal officers, and up.
Right,
So when
right.
she put it out into this, it was like an email that went out where she told people, she was like, oh, below is such and such and such and such. She downplayed it. Although my name is on it as authoring it, but
Right.
she downplayed putting it out. Like it's almost going to look like it came from her. Right.
Right,
And so I
right.
asked her, I was just like, I said, I'm never a person big on anybody rah-rah me in public,
Right,
but I
right.
couldn't help but notice you praised me in private and shunned me in public. She said, for real? I
Wow.
said, yeah, that's the way I
Yeah.
felt. And so
Wow.
she was
That's
just like, I
real.
said, so if you want me to work for you to make you look good, it
Mhm.
looks better when you praise your people.
Exactly.
Don't be keeping
That's
me in the
good.
dungeon and making you shine. No, that's not how it
Right,
ain't gonna work
right.
like that. So
Right.
yeah. So
But see,
you
the
got
thing of it is, so when you're working in that capacity, and this has application to relationships. When you're working in that capacity, and you do what you do, and you make it look good, you make the other person look just as good. You
yeah,
know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
And they see you, and they should appreciate that about you because
Right.
you're helping them to shine. No, I'm not
Correct.
trying to take your shine from you. I'm giving you
Correct.
shine, but I'm shining right next to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So give me
And
mine.
you didn't shine. I mean,
Right.
you're shining, but I'm adding more shine to you.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? We're shining together.
No, no.
This is, as I like to say, this is a synergistic operation. This
Yeah.
isn't not a one man show. This is both of us shining together. I make you shine, you make me shine. We both shine together. So, but when the moment comes and I don't give you your shine, and I'm not lifting you up, and I'm putting you down as if to make myself superior to you,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a
And
real
I,
problem.
I think it's key that you brought this point up because we have to be real diligent and conscious about rewarding the people that we love. Like when it comes
Absolutely.
up, it could
Yes.
mean something could mean the world to them. And then a lot of times they'd be like, oh, that's good. All right, then. So I'm hungry. And you skip the whole person, like,
Right.
wait, that was
Right.
an
You didn't celebrate
accomplishment.
them.
But the
Yeah.
point is, it's important. And I think a lot of times we let selfishness kind of ride the train and we just
Mm.
kind of keep it moving. But it's
Mhm.
important to make sure you doing those little wins. In the work field, we say it's good to get as many little wins as possible
Yeah.
because it still shows an overall big picture of positivity.
Yeah.
So in the relationship world, the little wins of love that you show
Yeah.
goes a long, long way. Yeah.
It does. And so here's the thing though, Charles. I should celebrate you. I
Yeah.
should celebrate your accomplishments. I should celebrate the things that you do well. I should celebrate you. Absolutely. But when I don't know how to celebrate me,
Self-love. Yeah.
come on,
Right.
I got to bring
Yeah.
it back to that
Yeah.
because the problem is because I don't celebrate you is because I don't know how to celebrate me.
Mm.
Nobody taught me how to celebrate the things that I do.
Wow.
And so when it comes to trying to celebrate and acknowledge you, that seems foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? I should know how to celebrate you. Again, when God got finished doing all that he did, guess what he had? He had a party for himself. It was called the Sabbath day. And he said, it is very good. He celebrated himself. So if he celebrated himself, how is it that you're not celebrating yourself?
Wow.
And then you're celebrating yourself. How do you not? You don't know how, rather. You won't know how to celebrate somebody else.
Wow.
Real talk. Real
Wow.
talk. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it can't. I want us to understand. It can't just be about the negative things or the things that I don't do. It can't just be about that. But it also has to be about the things that I do. Yes, it has to be about those things. Otherwise, again, my question to you is: so if I'm not doing nothing good, why are you still with me?
That's true. So, you know, we need to put in there, Adam, the hashtag you did good movement.
Yes,
Just for yourself.
you did good.
Like for yourself, like start telling yourself, you know, I did. You can just get in that mirror and say you did good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then let it kind of go from there. And eventually stuff like that becomes contagious when a person see you celebrating them yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Absolutely. You should be celebrating the things that you do. No, you don't do everything right, but you do some things right. And those things are the things that you need to celebrate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And man, and then like you said, bringing this fully back to where we talked about this whole metric thing. The most important metric as it pertains to any performance in love, singleness, or just with marriage or whatever, is self-love.
Yeah.
That metric on how you love you, because it really, listen, we can lie to ourselves all day, but if we don't love us well, we can't love anybody else like anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can pretend and invite them into a toxic sauna with us, but it's not going to be good. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's not going to be good. I mean, yeah, you
what
need
Bruce
to.
Said. What Bruce said?
Bruce being crazy.
Deal
man.
with her because she freaking in bed or he makes good money.
Yeah, I just celebrate, man.
Oh God,
just celebrate, man. Dude, just celebrate, man. That's all I'm saying. Look, y'all keep that between
that one day.
Y'all keep y'all between yourselves, okay? Just keep that between yourselves.
Listen, man. Another note, since we talking about performance.
Listen, Lord.
We're not gonna get too deep, but it is amazing to me how all of the things in relationships, like you got emotional well-being. Are you seeing me? Are you courting me? Are you, it's a million things that we can tap into. But it's not too many, Adam, stronger than the intimate performance. It's like, I don't know what it is, but that can, how the Bible says, since you keep talking about the scriptures, the word says love covers what? I'm listening.
The word said what? The word
love
said what?
Covers a
multitude of sins. What are you talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
So in the relational world, loving covers a multitude of things. It really does. It adds up like that. In the relationship world, it seems like for some reason people even praise having quote unquote makeup sex. Like something bad happened, really bad. So and so came around, this happened, and now we back happy again. So it's just like, man, that's a big performance jump over everything. You know what I mean? But there are other things that mean equally or more important, but we value that so high.
It is it's an area of evaluation. It's an area of evaluation. It's one of the things that you check off on your box. It's a survey. Right. You send out a survey to find out and make sure that the person. Anyway, I'm not going no further than that. I'm already in trouble.
Look, you might not get the job if you can't. Look, if you can't perform, they ask you on the application, Lord. Are you able to perform the qualifications in this job?
I mean, if you all right.
We need to stop making put out job recs, and then people submit full resumes. People need to put relationship requisites up. and be honest with, and it's detailed to who you are and what you looking for in this role, like the employers do.
Well, no
Do
doubt,
your
no
own
doubt.
stuff. They need to have a job site, not no Indeed, Me Deed. Have something on there
Oh my
where people are, where
God.
people just got their face in their resume, not no beach pictures or the man with the shirt off, just resume, right? Just talking about what you like, who you are, blah blah blah.
Well,
And when you look at how much, and when you say how much you pay, and we're not talking about money, but the how much you pay part is what the like the things that you do that consider payment, like the good things about you that the person gets being with you. You know what I
right,
mean? Yeah.
right,
Anyway, that's a whole
right.
other story. We'll do that another day, another show.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
don't want no
Okay.
comments on that. I don't.
But anyway, yeah. All
No,
right.
no,
then.
no,
So,
no, no,
no.
no.
But
Don't do that.
Bruce said, I can not getting off topic. Can I get your opinion on this dress situation? Okay, really quick. Jamal Bryant. Let's just go ahead and knock it out real fast, Adam. All right. So you want my opinion? I'll give you my opinion. It's now first I will disclaimer, it's his wife, and it's really like, you know, it ain't nobody's business. It's his wife, right? If we just keeping it on the level. But since Bruce asked, I'm going to go ahead and just say it. All right. So for me, and this is based off what I've seen as a child, how I was raised, reared, whatever you call it. To me, when I think of the spiritual office, do I think people have to remain nuns for the rest of their life? No. But I do think like there's a huge level of responsibility that comes with being shepherds, right? It's just not just it's not the same, because guess what? If you talk to a shepherd the same as yourself as a friend, they're going to correct you right on the spot, right?
Mhm.
They will. Most of them, we know people that will correct you right away if you don't even call them by their title.
Mm.
So the point I'm making is you don't get to pick and choose when you want to stand up and when you want to sit down. If you are a leader of men and an influencer in a spiritual capacity, then your job is to influence spiritually. It's just what it is, or trade out the job. If you want to be an influencer or a celebrity, don't do the spiritual and influencing work. But if it's a spiritually influenced job, your job is to hold up the spiritual light. Now, portraying yourself just like the people you're trying to win is not a good look. You're trying to win. You told the lady she don't need to be in the strip club, or she doesn't need to be at all them night spots. She need to be in the church on Sunday morning. Well, okay, so if you don't want them feeling like they can be like you, then you are the person that's the trendsetter. Let's just be honest. First ladies of church, especially younger, modern ones, they're trend setting. The old school mothers had the hats, and that's what trended throughout all the other ladies on the front 2 rows wearing hats, because they were following her trend. So it's nothing changed in this day and time. When they see you looking a certain way, they're going to be like, well, hold on. That's why it's making such a stir, because for years we have in our minds associated a pastor and his wife a certain way. Not to say the mold can't be broken and people can't change the game and be modern, but let's just be honest. There is a line, right? There's a line you just don't go across. If you want to continue to get people to come across, you don't go across a certain line. That's just my thought. All right. Now, you got anything to say, sir? Oh, now you can say all them scriptures, but you don't got nothing to say.
I said what I need to say already.
I'm teasing. All right, Bruce, what you think, Bruce, before we go? We'll let you say what you think, Bruce. But yeah, man, that was a serious neck snapper situation, right? It went all over the place. They ended up on TV shows. It was all. It's still trending.
Yeah,
so,
it's
still trending.
I was like,
yeah, shoot.
Okay.
All right. Well, hope that answered your question, Bruce. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in today. Everybody be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, be blessed. What do you say?
Bruce. Nothing. Go. Let's go.
All right, on tonight. All right, sir. Well, I guess I will see you guys. Think you got anything else you got to say, Mr. Ford? You good?
I'm good, man.
Bruce said you ain't say nothing, but all right, fine.
I you know what? Honestly, I've been seeing it, and I've been getting pinged, and people have been asking me about it. I really seriously, I'm still processing the whole situation. I'm still, I honestly,
You don't
I'm
understand it?
No. It's not that I don't understand it. I'm still processing it in terms of what has happened and everything. I can't sit here and give my thoughts on it, particularly because I have not finished processing it. But I guess at some point I will be finished. I'm just saying. I know it may sound like a cop out, but that's where I am.
Definitely cop out. But yeah,
Whatever.
All right. But no, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's just to me, it's just pretty cut and dry. But yeah, I get it. All right. Until
Not
next
when there's so
time.
many other more serious issues to discuss, and I'll leave it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot more other things that we could be talking about other than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's a shame. It just shows the
Okay.
state we're in. But anyway, all right.
Just saying.
All right, y'all. Be safe.
Maybe.